Hello, and welcome to another week of Reclaimers. This week, we are doing our session 0 of the game Castles in the Air, an upcoming game that's in sort of the vein of Little Women and Anne of Green Gables. And if you are a fan of the game Good Society, this very much is like that game. It's by the people who brought you Good Society, and it kind of has that sort of vibe to it. But before we actually get into it, it is May 5th, which is Red Dress Day. And we're playing a historical game dealing with historical America, but I feel like we can't play a game like that without acknowledging that there were people here before we were here. But instead of just doing a regular land acknowledgement for the different areas that we are living in, I want to, one, make that land acknowledgement for the different tribal groups like the Ho-Chunk, the Marenga, Muwekma, Potawatomi, Shum, I'm having a hard time saying it, Yuhaviatum, and many other different Native groups that lived in the different areas of California and Chicago and Wisconsin, but not just giving the land acknowledgement that that we are on their land, but also encouraging people to learn about these groups, donate to these groups. We will have in the chat, we'll be posting the links to the different websites where you can donate, where you can find out more about their history, things like that. Getting back to Red Dress Day, May 5th is Red Dress Day. It is very important because it's a day where they're trying to bring awareness to missing and murdered Indigenous women in North America. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm running out of breath. So definitely make sure that you take a look at make sure you take a look at Red Dress Day. If you look up, it's a Canadian website, the Saskatchewan.ca. It gives you a lot of information about why the day has started, how this impacts Native communities in all over North America, and ways that you can help. Uh, uh, Getting back to the game, we're starting a new game called Castles in the Air. But before we even get to the game, I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, starting with JP.
Hello, I'm JP Fairfield, she, her pronouns. You can find me, well, my card has all my social media stuff on it. So JP Fairfield, JP FAIRFEIELD.CARRD.CO. Why was I going to spell something totally different? And you can also find me on a podcast with another person, D, and 4 other awesome Black women called the Gasman Noir Network. We also have a card at nogasmnoir.carrd.co, NERDGASMNOIRE Network.
And Enda.
I'm Enda. I am a writer and podcaster. Have a podcast called Black Girl Squee, and I have some music playlists curated over on Mixcloud. Enda Lauren, you can look me up there. She, her pronouns, and yeah, you can find me on the socials at induscorner.carrd.co, and I think that's it.
Alrighty, and Diana.
There we go. Well, that's everybody. I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Diana Moon, or on YouTube and Twitch at xDianaMoonX. I don't think I have any new. I feel like I have another announcement, but I don't remember. Maybe I'll remember by the end. That's me.
And Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris. I write about RPGs. If you go over to WordPress and look up Deeper in the Game, I'm pretty excited about this. I like history stuff, and this will be fun.
And of course, my name is Deanna Jones. I am a writer and a podcaster. You can find everywhere I'm at on social media on my card, nanicoolj.carrd.co. Yeah, that's everything. I'm going to have Diana take it away.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us. We have a special campaign that we're doing, Castles in the Air, which will be starting on Kickstarter next Monday. So we're doing session 0 today, and then next week we'll hopefully get the game started and hype you all up to join in the Kickstarter. Castles in the Air, I want to say, was created as a love letter, obviously, to next Tuesday. It says technically Monday, but I remember Australia time. So next Tuesday, thank you. Was created with a love letter, as we mentioned, to old stories of the United States and basically in the Gilded Age. It was also based on Good Society, which is a Jane Austen RPG, which we haven't yet played on this channel quite yet. So everybody here but me is completely brand new to the whole Good Society verse system that is created by Story Brewers. And it's a very much a story game. There's no dice rolling. There's no card pulling. There's only monologue tokens and resolution tokens, and to make everybody laugh or cry or have like interesting stories. Now, in the Kickstarter, I want to emphasize the 2 settings you'll be getting is a northeast setting and a Canadian setting also set in the East. So this San Francisco setting is a homebrewed by me that I got inspired by back when this game was in playtesting, because to my surprise, San Francisco went from like a mining town to full-blown city in like 20 years. And it was just ridiculous how the change happened. And I wanted to see how well Castles in the Air, which is mainly focused on more smaller town growing up, childhoods, how that would be when you're as a child. Everybody, it's kind of bustling, it's kind of not, everybody's still trying to settle in, and then when you grow up, how much the city has changed, how much has it impacted. For some of you don't know, the 1906 earthquake wasn't the first major earthquake of San Francisco, it was just the most devastating one at the time. And I'm bringing my friends along here to San Francisco during the Gilded Age, so the 1870s, and we all start as children, which can be, and I believe from ages 11 to 16. And so I would recommend for everybody to be within a few years range, because otherwise then you become like the mom friend, and that's not always fun unless you like being the mom friend. So like with any game, any good game that has with session 0 elements is collaboration. And I apologize if things look a little darker on screen. I'm on a new laptop. Things are looking weird whenever I share things. So for the viewers watching, everything might look grayed out. Hopefully I'll have that fixed next week when I'm back on my main computer. So, collaboration. Everybody gets to have a say in this. The only thing that I would be putting technically as like not changed will be historical accuracy, which we'll get into in a moment. So, what tone should our story have? We have 3 options. Heartwarming. Bad things will happen, but adversity exists to overcome or understood. Community, family, and hope are reliable forces in the world. We have striving. The world is difficult and can be harsh, but the trials of life can be overcome by working together as one. Change is constant, but it can be a force for good as well as ill. And then painful. Life begins in innocence, but it doesn't last long. As we grow older, the misery of the human experience is painful and even crushing, and will leave us very different from who we once were. These are for you fans who love dramas that end in crying. So, what does everybody think they want?
Heartwarming. I don't think I could deal with painful right now.
Yeah, I was
gonna
also
say
going to say
anything but painful.
What was the second again?
Striving. Difficult can be harsh, but the trials of life can be overcome by working together as one. Change is constant, but it can be a force for good as well as ill. So some bad things can happen, but in the end, we're all working towards having a happy life.
Okay, heartwarming, because I'm definitely not going with painful.
All
We'll
right.
keep going through it.
Yeah.
We're tired. We're tired.
Very much so. JP, I would like you to read the second one. So a few years.
Okay, where am I reading it from? Because there was a
It's
lot.
on the
Collaboration tab in the character sheet.
yeah, character sheet. That's the word I'm looking for. What is it with me and words today?
Look,
You've
I
had to
have
say a lot of words.
I have 5 different things open. I'm like, where? How long does the game span? So we have a few years. Our characters will start as older teens and become adults. After a time skip of just a few years, the game will feature only one passage of time. Do you want me to read all the options?
Yes, please.
Okay. A decade. Our characters can start at any age between 11 and 16 and will become adults after a time skip of at least 5 years. We may then choose to follow them for several years of adulthood. The game will include at least one passage of time, but can include more if the players desire. And lastly, have a lifetime. Our characters can start at any age between 11 and 16, and after an initial time skip of at least 7 years to reach adulthood, we will follow them through their adulthood to the age where they are old enough that they could have children of the same age that they started the game at. The game will feature multiple passages of time phases.
So what do you all think?
I would say a decade.
Yeah, I don't want to have a lifetime. I don't want the possibility of having kids my age.
That sounds good.
You don't have to have them.
All
I
right.
want to take the chance.
So we're technically skipping where the game should be set. It's defaulted to New England, so that we're in America, or obviously playing in San Francisco. Y'all don't get a choice in this. I'm sorry.
Collaboration is over.
Yeah. And even though, yeah.
Real quick, the chat is saying that everybody else is coming in really low.
Ooh, thank you. I will fix that. Again, working on a new laptop.
Getting everything together.
Chris, even though we are going to work on
Yes.
somewhat important, can you read the 3 options so that people will know what kind of variations, and hopefully everybody sounds louder?
Do you want me to just start at the little important and work my way up?
Yep, please.
Okay. A little important. We'll do the best job we can, but story is much more important than history. And then somewhat important. We'll try to get it right where it counts, but we'll never stop the game to find out a historical fact. During breaks, we will call on other players with more knowledge when something seems particularly important. If we're not sure, we'll make the best guess we can. And very important. We commit to arming ourselves with knowledge ahead of time to enable a more historical accuracy. We will call on the expertise of other players to help us get it right. We'll avoid stopping the game, but we can look things up during breaks and in between sessions to help with further play. That's actually a really good dial to have for games.
Mm-hmm.
And not just for like historical, but I think about people who are really deep into, say, Lord of the Rings or something where there's a canon and you have to go look it up, you know?
Yeah, giving people the freedom to just be loosey-goosey with it. Like, we don't have to be.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to stick with somewhat important. Specifically, since I made this setting, I have a whole settings document going from technically the 1850s all the way to the 1890s of decades of information regarding San Francisco. Then I break it down to the different other minority races that were in San Francisco at the time, and then like queer information, because gay has been a thing since the beginning of time. It was not invented in the 70s. Just FYI. So they, my players do have the that to refer to whenever they want, and they can also always add and do research. But if we're a little loosey-goosey with what happens, like, you know, why not? You know, it's a game. We're having fun. Thank you. So the next one is Inda. Could you read about how will we treat the gender power balance?
How will we treat the gender power balance? Well, our choices are historical, standard late 19th century patriarchy,
You know, your standard patriarchy.
Right. Off. It is normal and acceptable for people of all genders to hold a full range of respectable careers and continue working after marriage, make the first move, vote and hold political office, have marital relationships with all genders. And in reverse, it is normal and acceptable that only women may hold a full range of respectable careers and continue working after marriage, make the first move, vote and hold political office. And that is tempting because I always play a woman.
So what would you guys think? Off would be kind of, in theory, the way the modern day is. Like, we don't technically care about things. Technically, everybody can have, voting rights and everything. Reverse can be interesting. I've played in other games. It's very hard to think in reverse. My vote is usually to have the regular patriarchy because I think it's fun for us to like screw with it, But what do y'all feel?
I'm leaning more towards off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I kind of feel like, especially in like bigger places, things weren't always strictly upheld anyways. So you're always going to have somebody that was going against the grain when it's normal. So
Yeah, true.
Okay, so those are things we won't worry about in our game then.
Mhm.
Okay. I will read the next one. How will we treat racial, ethnic, and religious power balances? We have somewhat historical, which is we will be respectful and not use slurs, but immigrants and people not of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant origin may face discrimination and have fewer opportunities. Or off. It is normal and acceptable for all people of all backgrounds to be given equal opportunities for education and employment, hold positions of leadership over to the community as a whole, and be considered citizens of the United States or Canada. My kind of suggestion, because I did help work with this on the would be to do somewhat historical. Is as much as you want to include. It does not have to be. It could technically be off, but it's only if that feels impactful for your story, because some of the backgrounds you can be is actual immigrant, which is mostly the Europeans. If you wanted to play like an Irish person coming in, or deep rooted, which are the people who were already here. So that would be the Native Americans and the mostly Mexicans, but not all Mexicans, and wanting to deal with the cultural touchstones of like integrating. But I will leave it up to you how y'all will feel about that, especially since we still technically have it as somewhat historical.
Well, I was gonna play someone who is African American coming into San Francisco for the first time. At least that's where my idea was, because
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which one for me.
and I'm still gonna go with off.
D, Chris?
I'm good with whichever.
Yeah, I'm good with whichever either.
I just know that if it's off, it'll be a very interesting and different twist on history.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
That's true.
Unfortunately, a lot of historical San Francisco is a lot of racism.
Yeah. Especially in this period of time with the Chinese and everything, unfortunately.
I mean, kind of everybody.
Yeah. But we did have the Chinese Exclusion Act and then the Irish. One of the few things that damn show kind of got right.
It had such potential to be such a good show, and I'm sorry, I'm mad.
Right?
Are we angry about Warrior? I was
angry Warrior.
They were about to go into the rant. It was about to be on.
It had such promise, and also Atoy's outfits were gorgeous, and instead they didn't do any of that. But anyway. Never mind, I'm being fussy.
So this will be interesting to play with gender power balance off and racial, ethnic, and religious power balances off. I think we'll get a very unique game, and it also will show for people who want to check this game out the how fluid it can be. Like, just because, like, for example, when I first heard about Good Society, I was like, Jane Austen? That's white people, England. I don't care. And then I got to see an actual play where there was like women pretending to be their twin brothers and then like secret gay military brothers. And I was like, oh, this could be a whole bunch of different things. And they did have like a black character, the Moor, you know, and it was just like really fun and interesting of querying and changing what I knew of Jane Austen to be. And so this is a good way to show off that you could still do that without being trapped by the literary influences and such. So yeah, awesome. All right. Is there anything in our game we should avoid? So this is very similar to like lines and veils kind of thing. Like for sure we don't want to see. I'm going to put as an example, for me it's always like characters named Lewis, which is my go-to line always.
We always do Lewis, and then no. I don't think we're gonna be stabbing people in this one, but like no eye damage.
Yeah.
Maybe no Jose. Just add that to you.
Yeah.
I guess extreme violence or
Yeah, I was say
or cutaway, like
yeah, because I guess what I was gonna call it on-screen death.
yeah.
No on-screen death. Yeah, usually during the passage of time, they'll be like, you know, your parents or grandparents as secondary characters. Everybody's cool if they die during the passage of time and such, because that would be off-screen. Let's see, is there anything else?
Nothing with. I know I don't have to really worry about this with this group, but nothing surrounding around sexual assault or anything like that.
Yeah, that's usually one we do too.
Okay. Trying to think. There's even though I don't think we'll get to the 1900s where the Spanish flu happens, but no epidemic plague.
Understandable.
It helps that we've turned off both the racism and the sexism issues. Like that was a lot of it. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and as always, this is a living document, so if you guys think of something to add later, definitely can add there. But now let's get to the fun bits. Is there anything we'd love to see in our game? So this could be like tropes you want to check out, like kissing in the rain, or you know, seeing a schooner for the first time, or stuff like that. It could be SF related, or just historical related, or just what you want to see your kids do.
Enemies to lovers, because you know I love that trope.
Okay.
They don't start off in the city, right?
The city starts off smaller, doesn't it?
Yeah, the city starts off smaller. Since we're doing, when I first did this, I did this in 1860, so it was a lot more smaller. It was just converted over into being called San Francisco. 1870s, it's now slightly bigger, but it's not full blown. It hasn't been officially called the Paris of the West. It's not considered like as big as New York City for comparable.
I kind of want to have like, you know, that moment in the movie, you know, you're being a child or, you know, whatever age you are, you kind of sneak off and see something.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of changes your entire perspective. Like you maybe snuck off and saw like a show on stage or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing that, I think also at some point there's got to be the kids. Kids always find little secret places where they get a cool view or they can hide and, you know, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
The secret base tree house. It don't have to be a tree house per se, but like, you know, the secret base.
Yeah.
I like all of those.
What would also be neat? I have to reference my document, actually. So I know it's like, what was cool things that was happening during that time?
Because we likes to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff around food and drink.
Ooh, food discovery. Because I have a feeling we're going to play like a diverse group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first time somebody tries this food and they're like, oh, this is a whole new fun experience for me. How do I keep getting this?
Wait, did they have horchata back then?
I'll double check on that, but elote has been around since the Mesoamerican age. So that has been a street food that was very popular. And apparently in New York, it was also really popular to have street clams for a
I've heard
short
that
period of
before.
time.
Random historical San Francisco fact. Apparently, bananas were so much of a thing, specifically in Chinatown, that they complained that the banana peels covered the whole street.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
It's
I
just a
don't know
big
why
old
my people were about
cartoon.
it, but my people apparently love some bananas.
Look, if we don't have a scene where someone slips on a banana peel,
Like a cartoon character.
All right.
like while they're trying to eat their banana, trying
Banana
to save
peel
it.
comedy.
I'm just gonna throw it
Banana
in there.
peel.
Cats. I would like some cats.
You want to know what? I want there to be just a neighborhood dog. Like, it doesn't belong to anybody, but it's just a dog that's hanging out that everybody knows, and everybody like feeds it scraps and it just hangs around the neighborhood.
Always good things, yeah.
know?
This was also the time of the first cable car. The Conservatory of Flowers has opened up. It won't be
Ooh.
until we grow up that Golden Gate Park is nearly done, but that will be in construction. Golden Gate Park is basically Central Park but smaller. So
Want a
Yeah.
sassy
neighborhood dog.
Raven or Coven, whatever. I don't know. I just want a sassy bird because I feel like they ravens
Any
Sassy
Corvin.
bird.
pretty much that, low key.
Wait, do we have
food
parrots?
and
Did
fun
San
animals.
Francisco have the parrots then?
Oh,
Probably not. That probably came later, though, right?
Let me double check because I know there's a documentary, San Francisco Parrots.
So for random viewers, apparently San Francisco has a huge ass flock of parrots and stuff that come around.
They come hang out. I say come like I live there.
Yes, I want the sassy parrot because I had parakeets growing up. So
Oh no, this happened in the early 90s because there was an exotic parrot trade happening.
And then someone let them loose.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god.
That's interesting. And now the parrots are like, we're hanging out.
Okay, I have to ask this obligatory for Neko since she created this game with this in mind. Does anybody want childhood lovers or childhood friends to lovers?
I'll go with childhood romance.
yeah.
I kind of also figured we'd be playing towards the older end of the scale, but I don't know. We haven't decided that yet.
Yeah. Okay, and again, this can be changed and added to at any time y'all think of anything, especially doing your San Francisco research or even Chicago research. Maybe JP, your character, introduces us to deep dish pizza. Yeah. She's like,
I'm like, wasn't even inventing it. Look, I'm sorry.
When was deep dish pizza invented?
So, okay, hear me out. A Chinese clay pot, but pizza inside.
Oh my god, JP.
It's the
you
deepest deep dish.
You invented
I am
deep
not
dish
inventing.
pizza.
First of all, I don't appreciate y'all thinking that the only pizza that is in the Midwest is deep dish. Okay, we have other type of pizza.
like,
What was
The
it?
Name one
tavern
other.
style, isn't it?
Tavern.
Isn't it the tavern style? Yeah.
Tavern.
oh, the tavern style.
So we don't eat deep dish every day.
I mean, that's your fault. I would be. If we still had Unos,
It's
oh my
too
God.
heavy. It's too heavy. Even the the vegetarian one when I come out there that we get from Lou Malnati's is the lightest one and it's still so heavy.
You're not meant to eat a whole one.
I don't.
I just like
half
playing
of a slice.
Marichuy.
And plus, it's great in the winter because you full.
Well, yeah, because the winters there are so cold.
Okay, so I thought so. It wasn't until 1940s.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's always funny to see how new things are that you didn't think were that new.
Right. All right. Next thing. The town. You don't get to choose. It's San Francisco. Gasp. So, I decided to judge up the questions. Usually the top one would be like pick a town and a town name or choose your own. Here I listed pick a district. Majority of these were the ones that were known back then. Barbary Coast technically encompasses Chinatown, Little Italy, or North Beach as we now know it, and some part of like the financial district. And that was the skeevy area because that's where Shanghai was happening. That's where the prostitutes were, the red light district, all that jazz. We could be from there if you want. Mission was just new. It was not the Latino district. It was actually Germans first. So Germans and then eventually became Latinos. Western Edition was just like a whole new neighborhood that was added on. Haight Ashbury had just started from the two men who were named that. Obviously, Chinatown. Presidio is like where the military base is. So once the Navy started and everything, this is, if you've seen San Francisco map, it's technically the northern part after Golden Gate Park area is eventually where the Golden Gate Bridge is going to be formed. Cow Hollow was literally the places where all the cows were raised and farmed, because apparently we had cows. I did not know this. It makes
California
sense.
used to have a gang of cows up until like the mid-90s.
Yeah, but in San Francisco, with how tiny it is, I would never expected it. And the Richmond and Eureka Valley were other areas. I think Eureka Valley is near where some of the Chinatown is actually where San Francisco started, because that's where the mining centers was. But Eureka Valley was also part of that. It's also the more like Russian center, if I remember correctly. Or you could just we could choose another area or have it be ambiguous. What do y'all want?
I'm all for being from the skeevy part of town.
I was going to say the same thing.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I don't have a horse in this race.
All right, the Barbary Coast. You just have to think of why your family moved to the skeevy part of San Francisco from Chicago.
I'm just laughing because
affordable.
JP, all I'm hearing is,
Yeah.
there's some horse in this race.
No, it's like T was saying, it's affordable, but also that's where you're gonna find like a lot of different type of people commingling.
That's true.
That is
I was
true,
gonna
yeah.
say you're that or like the military section.
That's
since we
also-
turned off the racism.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's also Ghirardelli Square is there
if we
too.
do move to the skeevy part, I have an idea why my family moved there. So, or why I am there. So, if y'all really want that, I have ideas in my head. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so for this next bit, what are some details about the town or the district where your characters live? So this we can make up. It doesn't have to be historically accurate. It could be the name of the dog, the neighborhood dog if you want, and what kind of breed it is or what have you. So each person gets to put in one detail.
I feel like we should call the dog Biscuit because we always get the dog.
I like Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Biscuit is darling.
I like Biscuit.
I'm immediately going to jump to the food thing. Since this is skeevy part town, I think we can make up that there's like an alley or an area where they effectively have the equivalent of food stalls or food carts,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's something else interesting about the neighborhood?
Of course, since it is the skeevy part of town, you're gonna have your street preachers around that type.
Of all denominations?
I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
I'm just laughing because I'm like
Which is-
competing to see who gets who on what knees.
Which is very true because I had added to the guide. For those of you who have been to Chinatown, there's that old-fashioned church, like really large, and it has a specific sign. That church was made because Chinatown was part of the Barbary Coast and was trying to get people to stop whoring, essentially, and be good. And so it is definitely very accurate that there would be a lot of people there trying to like help the sinners. Okay, do you think you and I are the only ones?
I think I'm gonna say because of the reputation of this neighborhood, there's very much a us versus them kind of thing going on. Like the people in the neighborhood will take care of each other and we all know each other.
Mhm.
But like if somebody from somebody else, like people from other places come around all the time, but like if they start stuff, then it's like a neighborhood beatdown.
Yeah, pretty much.
Heartwarming neighborhood beatdown.
Right.
Yes. A beat down with love.
Mhm.
Let me punch my care into you.
Press you with my
I
knuckles.
just want to curb stomp you with kindness.
This is
I
such a
think-
heartwarming tone y'all are offering.
I feel like this is in every neighborhood, no matter what. Because, like, even when my grandmother was telling stories about her growing up, there's always a house with someone's grandmother making candy and like treats
Mhm.
Yes.
that you
Candy Lady
Yeah.
House.
Yeah.
that you buy for a penny. I was like, a penny?
We had the ice cream lady.
There was a lady who had general snacks in my grandmother's neighborhood. And then of course we had like the ice cream trucks that came by. And when the elote man started coming by, that was the best.
Like, so the candy, like the penny, well, it wasn't penny by the time I got there.
But they still called it penny candy.
Penny candy.
And then shit was 15 cents.
Competing with now or laters.
Right.
Now layers and
And by the way, Diana, our heartwarming is we haven't killed kids yet. So this is as heartwarming as we
I like
get.
how yet is still added there.
I mean,
We
I'll
haven't
have
killed
all
kids.
three.
This time we are the kids, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll chill.
So hold
So
up, since we're the kids, that means other kids are equals. All bets are off.
Right.
So start swinging.
I've added that the Shanghai tunnels are haunted.
Ooh.
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 Well, we're definitely going to
Okay, so my brain has to remember this is heartwarming because when I
Yes.
think of haunted tunnels in San Francisco, it goes nowhere good.
Yeah, that's the rumors that the kids, but no one has like gone there of kids wise.
It's definitely a thing where kids will dare each other to go,
Yes.
and they'll like go stand at the edge of it and like push each other, and then everybody gets scared and runs away.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have to
Exactly.
run to a certain point and then run back without
Mhm.
and you have to stay there for 5 seconds and then like run back.
You can tell we were kids who used to scare other kids.
I was the bookworm. I stayed home and just read books all day. Y'all are wild.
Same.
Okay, so I did read books at home, but when I was outside.
There was
Catch you
a
outside.
house. There was a house in our neighborhood that everybody swore was haunted. And it used to be the thing that we would do is if you could go and stand on the porch for 10 seconds, you were the bravest kid in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Nobody did it. We would go and we would get like to the edge of the porch, and then like somebody would go to step on it, and like something would make a noise, and we'd all just scatter.
So there was like gates, and so like our haunted house, they was like you have to knock on the door, and then but it was close to the gate, so
That's how the ghosts come
would
out.
knock on the door and then jump the gate. So like this is a tall gate, so like you had to go up, flip over.
I
and
know
then
so many kids cut themselves on that gate trying to get away from this ghost that probably didn't exist. It was just some old lady minding her business.
Right.
It's be terrible if the ghost is like, man, they keep feeding me blood on this gate. What's going on?
All right. One more question before we get to characters. What are some What are some details about the townspeople? So of this district.
Mm,
And we can name names here too. Like if you have like Mrs. Robinson, was always losing her cat or something. You know.
Biscuit has a rivalry with a man named Bicycle Willie. He always chases Willie on his bicycle every time Willie rides through the neighborhood. Shout out to Bicycle Willie. That is a real person.
Is that the dude who does the videos where he's got the microwave on his head?
No, that's in my parents' old neighborhood. There was a guy called Bicycle Willie, and they called him that because he just rode his bike through the neighborhood all the time.
Okay. The reason why I mentioned Sassy Bird, because there was a bird who did not like kids. And if you go past his tree, he will chase you down the hill. So
That's
Okay,
a sassy bird.
Sassy.
I can't think of two band names, but I imagine there's got to be two different bands that play different kinds of music, but they will also jam together, and it's like some cross-cultural thing.
yeah.
Ooh.
My brain is already thinking way ahead to the 1930s when they started having the not Singapore. Yeah, it was it Singapore? I mean Shanghai jazz, but I'm not. It doesn't have to be that
I
because
mean,
obviously we didn't have jazz quite then.
yeah.
It wasn't quite jazzing yet.
Was like the banjo popular around San Francisco?
Not sure actually. I should have
should
looked up
be.
music for y'all because y'all are music heads,
Well,
but
we could just say there's two different bands, and sometimes they jam together for cross culture, and then we'll look it up later.
yeah.
I want to say there's one of the women who runs the whatever the entertainment is. She will give maybe she'll give the kids maybe a penny or something every time they bring her like a specific type of feather that she can use for like costumes and stuff. So she's known for that. That would be Mrs.
Maybe she's an ancestor of your character from the Inspector's game.
What was the Inspector's game?
Remember when your wife was caught in the virtual world as a ghost?
Wait, my wife caught me in the virtual world as a ghost.
Why do you have so many sad wife stories?
Yeah, no sad. We'll put down the no, not this time. No sad wife stories for this game.
Okay.
From
damn.
Inda, yeah.
So
And
that
that
means
has to have happy wife stories.
so I do not have a wife named Annie. Okay. I get it.
Yeah, Annie is in fact okay. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit.
D gets the award for breaking into this game.
Yeah.
55 minutes in, let's go.
That is Mrs. Hannigan.
Mrs. Hannigan. That's a nice. That sounds like a nice lady.
And for my what are some details about the townspeople? There's a group of women who are aspiring to become mermaids.
Mermaids.
Because there was for a time.
Is this like a spiritualism thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but I was just like, I know when swimming became more popular in synchronized swimming, and it was obviously it's not until the 1930s or much later. Like, for example, in Disneyland, where the Yellow Submarine is, they used to have live women pretending to be mermaids and such in showcases. So, with how freezing cold the Bay Area water is, it'd be really tough. But they think if they could last, they'll be able to quote unquote ascend into like being able to swim like that.
Oh, it's a cute cult.
All right.
Positive cult.
Yeah. And the last question we don't do until we do Passage of Time. So now we go to characters. Any row you want, just claim it, claim the color, and you can have it.
I want blue.
I'm taking orange.
I'm taking.
So I'll take that first color.
I'll take that coral pink.
All right. Yeah, I get to have green.
Okay.
So unlike Good Society, where there's play sets, because sometimes certain like desires and relationships can break, um, uh, that's not a thing here. You can choose more than one person can be different childhood role or come from different family background or come from the same family background, because we all experience life differently. Um, so I'll run down everything real quick, and then we'll go back to everything else. Hold on, let me just double check. So there's 8 steps to creating a major character. I'm going to list it real quick. You get to choose a childhood character role, choose a relationship you would like to give away, choose a family background, form relationships, then you create a castle in the air, then you can choose or create a bosom enemy, and flesh out major characters, and then we do introductions. In theory, for the last hour, we'll be able to get through all 8 of these. There is the final tab is the rules and play reference, so this has a bunch of all this information, including the character creation section. So you can refer back to this there. But feel free to also just ask me if something doesn't make sense. So choose a childhood character role. I gave you in the primer. It'll be the second one listed. So
The childhood, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are 6 different character roles. Inda, please read just the paragraph for the bookworm. Once you have it
You're
open.
muted, Enda.
Always asking difficult questions of
Oh,
a
no,
philosophical. What?
in the document I linked. There's like a
Oh, wait,
paragraph.
where's the document?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that open.
No worries.
I had everything else open with that.
It's a lot of documents to start with. After this part, it won't be as many.
You said the bookworm?
Mm-hmm.
Did I pass it?
Yeah, so the first paragraph. Yeah.
Many children prefer to learn by doing, but such a method has always seemed rather roundabout to you when there are so many who have already done and one can instead learn through their experience. Adults keep trying to get you to play with others your own age, but why should you have to be more like your peers when it's so easy to see that there's no better company than a good book? That is way too close to home. Connections. Parents, grandparents, guardian, a favorite teacher. The bookworm benefits from a connection that they respect for their knowledge or a connection who will try to take them out of their comfort zone. The bookworm is always asking difficult questions of a philosophical turn of mind, more theoretical than practical, and constantly reading books. Example characters: Demi Brooke, Little Men, Rob Bauer, Joe's Boys, Matt Campbell, 8 Cousins. I have never read any of those.
Little Men is the sequel to Little Women.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know about it. Awesome.
I don't remember anything about it. I read it, don't remember nothing in it.
D, can you read the next one? The Dreamer?
Okay. The Dreamer. To a child, the world often seems large, but it has always been larger for you than most. It's always been larger for you than most, populated as it is with the full depth and breadth of your imagination. Your tender soul births fancies just as real to you as anything flesh and blood. But the same sensitive nature is quick to feel slights. To those who get to know you, you are a beacon of light, but once injured, it can be hard for you to open yourself back up again and risk further ridicule. Hey, I feel attacked. Connections: parents, grandparents, guardian, kindred spirit. The dreamer benefits from a connection who they can open up to, or a connection who will challenge their sacredly held beliefs. The dreamer is blessed with a vivid imagination, a lover of nature and beauty, sensitive and quick to feel a slight, possessed of a rich inner world. And some examples are Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables, Paul Irving, Anne of Avonlea,
Avonlea, I think, but I'm not sure.
Avonlea, Walter Blythe from Rainbow Valley, and Emily Starr from Emily of New Moon.
Awesome. I'll read the innocent. Some may call you sheltered, and perhaps you are, but looking for the best in people has always seemed to you like a virtue rather than a detriment. There's no shame in being a child, and you intend to keep to being a child for as long as you can. There's no use growing up too quickly when there's so much sweetness to be found in childlike things and a whole world beyond your limited experience that you are not ready to tread. Connections: parents, grandparents, guardian, or older sibling. The innocent benefits from a connection who will try to protect them, or a connection who will expose them to things beyond their safe and comfortable home life. The innocent is shocked by harsh realities, part of the domestic sphere, slow to warm up to others, quaint and old-fashioned. Example characters: Beth March from Little Women, Daisy Brooke and Nat Blake from Little Men, Polly Milton, an old-fashioned girl. JP, can you read the prince or princess?
You have always lived a charmed existence, easily performing the manners and social graces so pleasing to adults. This has led to a certain amount of indulgence in the way people treat you, but you can also back it up with malleability and abundance of talent. That means you are generally well liked by your peers. Still, being a sophisticated child can only take you so far, and your greatest wish in life is to finally be an adult. Connections: parents, grandparents, guardian, devoted follower. The princess benefits from a connection who is utterly charmed by them, or connection who is well aware of their flaws. The prince or princess is a talented golden child, spoiled but well liked by peers, sophisticated for their age, eager to be an adult. Example characters: Amy March from Little Women, Bess Lawrence from Little Men, Charlie Chaplin, eight cousins. Why
Charlie
can I not-
Campbell. Yeah, awesome. Chris, the ringleader.
The ringleader. You are not necessarily the oldest member of your circle, but you are the most responsible. This comes with its own perks. Both adults and peers will come to you when something needs to be done, but being in a position of authority has also made you quick to offer advice whether or not anyone has asked for it. After all, you are practically an adult already, at least in your own mind. Connections: parents, grandparents, guardian, younger sibling. The ringleader benefits from a connection who looks to them for advice, or a connection who doesn't think they're as grown up as they think they are. The ringleader is the responsible one, interested in others' well-being, quick to offer unsolicited advice, already an adult in their own mind. Example characters: Meg March from Little Women, Franz Hoffman from Little Men, Archie Campbell from Eight Cousins.
And then D, can you read the last one? You're muted.
The scam. Almost anyone can get into trouble, but it takes a truly original mind to find quite so many ways to get into trouble, as you manage to on a regular basis. You rarely get in a scrape the same way twice, and are constantly inventing new schemes no one has thought to make a rule against yet. Fortunately, you are so lovable and well-meaning that people find it very easy to forgive you, at least until you are in your next bind. Your connections: parents, grandparents, guardian, critical neighbor. The scamp benefits from a connection who enjoys their mischief, or a connection who wants to see them reform their scampish ways. The scamp is high-spirited and original, always in and out of scrapes, lovable and easy to forgive, horrified by rules and formalities. Example characters are Joe March and Lori Lawrence in Little Women, Tommy Bangs and Nan Harding in Little Men, Josie Brooke and Teddy Bear in Joe's Boys, and Tom Shaw in An Old-Fashioned Girl.
Awesome. So, based on those descriptions, what are y'all thinking?
Scamp.
I'm thinking ringleader.
I'm thinking dreamer.
I was also thinking dreamer.
All right.
So it's either going to be dreamer or innocent.
I will choose princess then. So, after that, so we'll have two dreamers, a ringleader, a scamp, and a princess. Awesome. So you don't change the column that says child. The next thing, let me double check, even though I just read it, if I can find this page. Too many tabs open. Choose a relationship you would like to give away. So There is, I believe. There are sample relationships there. We can either use those. We can switch them around. So there's schoolmates with, family friends with, best friends with, neighbors with, siblings with. And let me double check there wasn't any extra ones, I think. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Oh, so there's siblings, cousins. I forgot to put this in the primer. Siblings, cousins, neighbors, desk mates, idolized, best or bosom friends, rivals, childhood sweethearts. You have a crush on somebody, a family friend, or partners in crime. I'll put it at the after these links right here.
And this is our relationships to each other, right?
Correct. So you technically only choose one relationship to each other. We try not to make islands, though sometimes that does happen. So you should be giving out a relationship and then receiving a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I think since I'm new into town, I wouldn't be related to anybody there yet.
Makes sense.
Um,
Since you like rivals to lovers, do you want a rival? Or if you want to have that as a secondary character kind of thing.
I guess
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If someone wants to be a rival to me, that's fine. I don't.
I was gonna say that you were my neighbor.
Okay.
So if we were rivals or friends or whatever, I don't know how relationships work apparently anymore. I don't know words or relationships, but I imagine that that would mean that we would communicate with each other on some basis, whether it be friendly or unfriendly.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I might do family friends with is did Inda take the bookworm, or who's got what? Yeah, Inda's got the bookworm. Because I was literally thinking of my character's family. The deal is that they run sort of a print shop.
Ooh.
So they're doing like the posters and stuff for all the like burlesque shows or whatever we've got, like.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that means they're also occasionally doing books on the side.
How do you feel
indeed.
about that, Inda?
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Okay, so Chris gives family friends to Inda. Inda gives JP. Gives Diana. Gives. Let's see. I think. Thanks for that. I have it all. It's just so many tabs. I'm like, whoops, where did I put everything? I have the Discord up for our last game as reference. So I think maybe I think maybe my character has a crush on JP's character.
Whoa.
Cause new girl and all.
And the lovable scamp too, right?
Yep.
And that'll be interesting with the princess dynamic.
I'm gonna get you in so much trouble. I'm gonna have all of the bad ideas. I'm so
Inda, what relationship would you like to give to somebody else?
Does it have to be siblings
No,
here?
that was just the example that was
Okay.
put there.
Okay.
So yeah, I put in the primer document the list, which is under the links for these. So siblings, cousins, neighbors, deskmates, idolizes, best bosom friends, rivals, childhood sweethearts, has a crush on, family friend, partners in crime, or if you can even think of another idea of a relationship that kids would have between each other.
Okay, because I'm not seeing any of that. Sorry.
In the primer doc,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know where that is now.
This is
Okay.
to a degree. This is the same problem I have when I run games. There's so many docs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say family friend with family friend with I'll be with Diane's character. Family friend.
Okay. You have all the family friends. And then JP, who are you giving relationship to?
Okay.
Technically, it would have to be Chris because Chris has not received any.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, where were the choices? I lost the tab. Where is it? Okay, there it is. I would say partners in crime with Chris. Because
Yeah.
if I'm the champ and
I'm the responsible ringleader. Oh boy, this is tough.
You're just influencing all the people badly, aren't
well,
you?
I don't know. Okay, you was gonna be a responsible.
No, I think that's a great
No,
idea.
it works.
There's
It's so much fun.
There's always the good kid with the bad friend that gets me in trouble.
Okay. maybe it'd be better for best friend.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Because
Well, wait, you said you're new into town, right?
yes.
So like we became best friends pretty quick then?
Yes. Pretty much.
Chris is like, stick with me, kid.
I feel like either one would work. What would be better? Best friends or partner in crime?
So here's the thing. Maybe your character is good at art, and my thing is like, hey, I'd like to start printing my own stuff someday and having you help illustrate stuff.
I was thinking you were gonna print fake money.
No.
Okay. So I had thought of a background for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I don't know if this will influence. Like because I had that the reason why we moved into this less than ideal neighborhood is because they ran numbers and they had a bad situation with a white boy.
You know, actually, if you ran numbers, it unfortunately makes perfect sense why the print shop is tight with your family.
Yeah. Okay. Best friends then.
I totally imagine when our parents talk business, we get pushed out like, hey, go find something to do, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Get out of here. Get out of here, kids.
Exactly. Y'all got quick with your names. I haven't even thought about names. You know what I will do? Gotta think of a name that I haven't already used in a previous game. I'm like, So while I'm thinking of a name, I believe the next thing is. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, create a relationship you like to give. Kind of went a little backwards, but that's my bad. Choose a family background. So that's the other document that's in the primer. So this one we won't be. Or actually, if y'all want to take turns, for the deep rooted and the immigrant one, just read what's the offsetting since that's the one we're doing. But deep rooted and immigrant have separate ways of interpreting depending on if we had put the cultural and racial stuff on or off. So, how about we'll go in the order of Chris, D, JP, Inda, and then just repeat.
Am I also reading the setting notes? 'Cause there's
No,
quite a bit.
just the paragraph. Yeah.
All right. So the first one up is clergy. The good book may say the Lord is always watching us, but you know firsthand that's equally true of his followers when you're one of his servants. The moral capital that positions your family in the center of the community comes with increased scrutiny. What might be forgiven or laughed over when done by a member of the flock is cruelly whispered over when done by a shepherd. Next one's deep rooted.
Me,
Okay.
right? Am I reading the off or I'm just reading the first paragraph?
Oh, let me double check.
Oh, I think you just do to the off because the first one's talking about the fact there's two paragraphs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your family has been in this country for generations, and it's the only nation that you have ever considered home. Though you have heard it called a melting pot, the things that make your family different from those of many of your peers have never melted into similarities. The culture you come from remains an important part of your life with its unique traditions and values and long history. Even if you sometimes dream of being free from the responsibilities of your cultural inheritance, you can't imagine your life without your community and traditions, and most days you wouldn't want to.
And then JP, I think you're next.
Okay, do I just do air reputed or
Humble
You have
origins.
humble origins.
okay, I wasn't sure if that was okay. Humble origins. The need at home to skimp and save has denied you pleasures, both great and small, and subjected you to many stares from those who see themselves as your better. No matter, you can hold your head high with the knowledge that there is no shame in being poor. For though fashionable society fails to realize it, your family's wealth is found not in material possessions, but in the good name and upright character no amount of money can buy.
Okay, reputed.
No,
Next.
reputed. The children in town have any number of theories about the old house located far off the beaten path that you call home. They call it haunted or say it's inhabited by witches, but in reality, it's full of dust, aging relatives, and a severe lack of noise or cheer. Of course, it's not all bad. On the days where you can get out, you can generally be away for hours without anyone missing you or having to face any questions about where you have been once you return. And again, too close to home.
And then repeat, Chris.
Immigrant. Whether or not you yourself were old enough to remember, or had even been born, when your family left it, the old country had always been a tangible presence in your life. Sometimes it's exciting to have a strong ethnic history filled with delicious food and unique traditions. Other times you find it hard to deal with your parents' homesickness and their insistence on cultural values that differ from those of so many of your friends. But at the end of the day, one thing is always clear. You have not one, but two homes.
And D for merchant.
Standing somewhere between the farmer's harvest and the factory owner's processing is the middleman. Your family is not in the business of production itself, but it interacts with both sides in such a way that neither can truly exist without the other. In the smallest towns, your family store may even act as the post office that connects the outside world and the bank that supplies lines of credit until the crops come in. All this may make you, if not necessarily rich, certainly comfortable, but it doesn't necessarily make you well liked.
Awesome. JP?
New money. They phrases like robber, baron, and upstart. Well, these are just words, are they not? You know the truth. Your family worked hard to get where they are, and there's no shame in enjoying it. But like the parable of the talents, to one who much has been given, much is expected in return. It is your duty not just to help others, but to do so in a public way so as to shame those who are less generous.
And then
Old
Inda.
elite.
Thank you.
For as long as anyone can remember, your family has been a fixture of the town in which you were born. Being so well established brings with it a great deal of respect and influence in your community. With these advantages comes a certain responsibility to use your resources for the betterment of others, bearing your status with the good works and social graces that express refinement in a way that idle wealth or showy charity never can.
And then I'll read Orphan. Your family is to you no more than names on your birth certificate or a set of fading memories. You know what it's like to be in a precarious situation and have others look down on you for something that is beyond your control. You have had to grow up quickly and learn how to care for yourself, but in spite of all your lonely nights, you have never put aside the hope that you might someday have a family to call your own. So, y'all can choose. Again, I believe more than one person can be of one origin. The main thing to take away is like how much you want to interact with this origin. Like, even though, like, as y'all know, I always play Latinx. It does not mean I would always choose deep rooted. It could be like I'm playing a fashion version of Castles in the Air, and I had started off as orphan because I thought that was new to me background, and wanted to see how that affected me as a child. But then when you grow up, no longer an orphan, I'm something else, you know. So it just all depends if you want to, how much you want to touch on that, so you can be of any of those. Do you have any ideas?
I'm already thinking merchant. Even though technically doing production, it's mostly about being a service to other folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do new money.
I feel like I'm between humble origins and ill reputed.
Yeah, I was thinking of ill reputed too. But
That would make sense. Do you want, despite the fact that your family came to San Francisco to technically have a new life, do you still want it to have chased you? Because then that would make sense to have a reputed.
Well, I think like the reputation of people who do like the illegal gambling stuff or run it
I think
will have a bad, will have at least a bad reputation, even though everybody goes to them to make bets. Like,
I think I'm gonna do humble origins. He's just broke.
I think. I think new money will be interesting since I'm acting like a prince after all. Part of that Gilded Age society.
You still picking, Inda?
no, I'd went with new money.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Okay. After that is Castles in the Air. So that's right under Oh, actually before that, what age range do we want to be at when we start this game? We can go from 11 to 16.
I was thinking about 13.
Do we all need to be the same age?
No, it could be within range, younger or older. Since 13 is a good middle age, like you can be 16 if you like, or you can be 11 and a half or 3/4.
I
Maybe
think
we're
I'm
just start
probably
counting
gonna.
quarters.
I think I'm just gonna be 14.
I think I'm gonna do 15.
I'll be 14 because that's how old Sailor Moon was when she discovered she was a princess.
Nice.
But yes, so castle. A castle in the air is a childhood dream of what your life will be like when you're an adult. Make it as humble or ambitious as you'd like. Just double checking. Yeah. So this could be as outrageous or as practical. What do you think you're like? If you want to be like, I want to be a dinosaur, can be a perfect castle, you know. And this doesn't necessarily mean that this will stay with you into the rest of your life. It can, depending on what you choose. It could be like, I want to be the merchant king of Barbary Coast, or I want to learn 3 languages, or I want to be Shanghai, not knowing what that means, you know. So it's whatever you think that your character, as it is right now, would be dreaming of.
That's a good one. What does my character want? Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 bagels.
What?
I'm gonna write. I want Esther to create deep dish.
No.
I want you to invent a new style of pizza.
No. No.
Mm,
No.
Mark actually he wants, he's like seeing it that we're printing, but we're printing mostly like posters and flyers. He wants to actually run a book business. Like he wants to be a book publisher.
I think I want to I think she wants to be in the theater because she snuck into like a theater once and a play was happening around the same time.
Makes sense.
I think she wants to travel the world and write about her adventures. Eventually settle back down at home.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I think Minnie also wants adventure. She doesn't want to write about it, but she wants to see and experience. I imagine she's the kind of person who like read or heard stories about like something going on in France and is like, oh, I'm gonna go to France one day.
Yeah.
Can't speak any French. Never met a French person in her life, but she's certain she's gonna go one day.
Of course. Makes sense. Let me look at my primer. Or not my primer. My setting thing.
Oh, she's heard of a bunch of, because it's a diverse neighborhood, she's heard of a bunch of places.
Yeah.
I mean, between being a port city and a place connected by railroad, you're hearing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Esther, did you come by train? You would have been one of the first few to come from Chicago specifically to San Francisco.
Sure.
What do I want? Sometimes castles are a little hard for me to think of. Same with desires. Even though it can be just silly, I'm just like, but I want it to be perfect.
I'm just sitting here laughing, thinking about the fact of like, wow, trains so new, the top end of technology, and like here we are today. Please, more trains. Bring back the trains. The people yearn for the trains again. Less coal, though.
Actually, thank you, Neko. That's going to be it. I want to train around the world. Airships are out.
Ooh,
Trains are
airships.
in. Yeah, because Neko mentioned that Around the World in 80 Days has already been published.
Ooh. That's Minnie Mae's favorite book. 100%.
And for Maddie, it's not necessarily the adventuring like y'all. It's like being in a luxury train, like Esther was in, and just having a good time just looking out the window. Excellent. So now we get to choose a bosom enemy. There are some examples in the rules and play references for depending on and you don't have to choose these. If you can think of your own, that's totally fine. And for your bosom enemy, so let me explain. Bosom enemies is a character's greatest fault and biggest struggle. Players are allowed to change out their bosom enemy at any point without waiting for upkeep. Examples of specific bosom enemies are discussed below. So for example, for the dreamers, you're foolish, you're overindulgent, you're superior. For the princess or prince, frivolous, lazy, grasping. For the scamp, bad-tempered, impulsive, shiftless. So these are the things that, like, as characters, as kids, that would be like technically your negatives, and these are things that possibly will carry on or transform as you grow into adult.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I have too many tabs, one little window. So yeah, let me read this paragraph from the actual rulebook. A character's bosom enemy is the driving force of play during childhood and will continue to plague them throughout the entire game and into adulthood. It is the flaw or moral failing your character struggles with the most, the thing they will default to when they are tired or in a bad mood or simply not guarding against it. For these reasons, it's really important for the players to pick a bosom enemy that they are interested in exploring, as they will be expected to touch on it during every novel chapter of childhood. Players can create their own from scratch or select one of the bosom enemy cards once we have the physical after the Kickstarter for the deck. The bosom enemy cards in the deck are indecisive, discontented, people-pleasing, timid, wrathful, controlling, thoughtless, performative, prickly, self-sacrificing, gullible, frivolous, impulsive, self-righteous, lazy, perfectionistic, overindulgent, pretentious, prideful, selfish, stubborn, and envious. Or if you can think of your own that you think will work best, that's fine. If you are creating your own, a bosom enemy should be something a character will struggle with, but a bosom enemy should be able to have a positive response, and a bosom enemy should be easy to explain.
I'll go with the perfectionism. That seems appropriate.
I think I'm going to go with, instead of foolishness, can I go with like naivety?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, sorry, but where did you find this again?
This one I'm reading out loud.
Okay.
From a document you don't have access to.
On the
Okay.
character sheet, though, if you go to the rules and play reference tab,
There's a couple
has
examples.
that has the examples. Now I got to remember how to spell naivety.
It's like naive with the TE at the end.
So since you're a bookworm, in the examples they give is thoughtless, proud, or prickly.
Oblivious.
That could be good. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Uh,
just to make just so you can understand, you will be having, especially for childhood, if in a scene you don't interact with your bosom enemy in a positive way, then there'll be special scenes where you have to technically interact with it. So for like oblivious, it would be example like, so you're oblivious to something that happened. Did you think about it? And if you didn't, then what's a way that you can combat it? So just make sure there's a way for you to be able to think of scenes of a way to like realize, oh, I'm being this way. Because sometimes that can be very hard with some of these bosom enemies. So you can't think of like, well, what's the opposite? Or like, how can I make my character feel like they understand that they're being too prickly or indecisive or something?
okay, I have a question about so is this like what we our go-to fault when only in times of like stress, or are we trying to, when we play our characters, make sure that we add that type of fault within our
If you can, if it makes sense to do so, yeah, it's not just when you're stressed or whatever. Usually
Okay.
might create, like for example, a bookworm who's prickly, and I'm using my boyfriend's character as an example. One of our first scenes was playing a game of pickup baseball, and my character was trying to get everybody to play. All he wanted to do was read the book. So if we try to like throw like a baseball towards him, how did he react? Yelling at them, being like, okay, fine, you know. What was his responses to actually playing? Like if he just stuck with his book and just used his book to dodge the baseballs, or be like, it's over there, you know, that's him being prickly. That's not him engaging with everybody else. But if he's like, okay, I'll be the umpire, so he can mostly read, but he's also engaging with the others, then he's not being prickly. Yeah, is one example. Perfectionist is obviously a more easy one to be like, okay, this print was not printed out properly, but the customer's never going to notice that. Do I let it go or do I not let it go? Naivety would be like, do you actually realize, oh, something is different here? So, and then sometimes during play, which happens often, not, you don't even think about it. And then then that's why there's that extra scene of like, did you interact with your bosom enemy? If not, then you specifically create a scenario for that, and it's generally with your parent or whatever your adult connection is.
Okay. I'm trying to decide between, at least from the examples they have for Scamp, bad-tempered and impulsive.
Mm-hmm. There's also, again from the list that y'all can't see, there's thoughtless or performative, to go with what you might be thinking of. Self-righteous, maybe. Prideful.
Mm,
I guess technically any of the 7 sins would work.
yeah.
D, what's with that face?
I think I'm gonna go with, I feel like impulsive would kind of bring all the other stuff in. Like, I feel like that would also bring in thoughtlessness, because like I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do this and then just go and do it and not, yeah. I think I'm going with impulsive.
Very true, Neko. No lustful during childhood.
Have you met a 13-year-old? They're gross.
Yes, but we don't have to play that.
You gotta tell them to calm down.
This is Twitch, not OnlyFans.
So where do we?
Oh,
so
yeah, it's
okay.
below. Yeah. So let me go back to characters. So yeah, technically line 17.
Okay.
Oh, you did the thing where you can press the button and expand things.
Yes, but don't expand yet, silly.
I love sheets. Give me a spreadsheet and I'm having the happiest day of my life.
Let's see.
Every number has a box. And the box have clickies.
Clickies.
I think to start with, I'm going to go with frivolous. New money, my parents are spending all the money. They're like, yeah, we has money.
Yep, that will fit the princess.
Mm-hmm. Especially with them being of Latinx origin, being like, yes, we are like the white people. Okay, and then after that, right? Yes, there's more transformation sheets in a bit, D, or later on.
More formulas.
Hold on, where did I? There. Cataclysm enemy. Flesh out the major characters. So, here's where we're probably not going to have time. We have 20 minutes. So this is where you write in your description, line 10, any information you have about your kid that you want to like have remembrance of. This is your little bio and everything. I tend to make mine long. And then also think about your connection. So as kids, it's recommended that it's an adult. It could be an older sibling. Older cousins, a teacher that you like, your babysitter, one of your parents, your grandparents. Are you like Dennis the Menace and have a neighbor that you really like and you don't realize they don't like you? All of that. So this is the time to write such things. This also means technically a bit of dead air. So if anybody in chat has questions, feel free. I'll probably do my descriptions in between game because I just don't have the capacity to write things and think up of things. So I'd rather help you all since I played Good Society and CETA many times.
Okay, I have a question for Chris. Are you an only child?
I think my siblings are actually adults at this point. Like they're already busy doing stuff. So they're only
Perfect.
around sometimes, right?
I feel like one of my connections is that whoever's one of the older, probably like maybe the last oldest before you, that I have a crush on.
Okay.
That is very like mid-teens having a crush on your friend's older sibling.
You're right.
That's so cool.
And you said they're all adults now. So
Yeah.
okay. Is it fine if I make them like 18, 19?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say 19. Do I want to be the girl or boy?
I guess here's a question. What do you crush about them?
Oh, that's a good question.
So, okay, I think the sibling maybe is kind of like I think they're really into, so like if my big dream was to like go into theater and stuff like that, I feel like the sibling is really good at like maybe singing and stuff.
That works great because the suggestion I was gonna say, maybe, they're not necessarily deep in the burlesque because our parents probably would be like, hey, 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 not that far. But a
Right.
singer would work. And here's a thought. Maybe they, for different acts, choose different gender presentations.
Ooh.
So you can have it be hot both ways, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Because I was sitting here like,
Because
am I gonna
already
make
my brain is saying,
or
my brain is
right.
going Chinese, Maya, whoa.
Yeah.
D can see it. I can see D can see it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I feel like they're fine with all pronouns. So I'm just gonna put she, he, they.
Yeah.
What's your last
I
name?
can't spell naive, and I know this about myself.
What is a very
Oh, you want
gender?
to spell it properly, you have to have the umlauts on it too.
Don't do that. I
Not
don't even
many
know where the
people.
umlauts go.
Not many people does spell it properly, so
I don't even know where they go.
Wait, what are you trying to?
How to spell naive? I made a mistake of making naivety be my bosom enemy, forgetting that I have to look it up almost every time that I try and spell it.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a first name. What is a very gender neutral name?
Oh, gender neutral. What was that back when Ashley was a male name?
might have been.
There's always Kim.
Oh, Kim Soo.
Well, that might be weird because Kim might be associated more for like not the Chinese folks. I'm trying to think. Maybe they go by a stage name. Because to be honest, here's the reality. When I was growing up in Chinatown, Seattle, there's just a guy everyone knew was Fat Boy. And that's it. They said, hey, my dad said, hey, if you're ever lost in Chinatown, you need help, ask for Fat Boy. People will take you to him. And everyone would know who Fat Boy is. Like, that's how Chinatown is. So someone might just have a street name or a stage name. But given that this is the burlesque, the sort of red light district, people probably have a whole bunch of street names and everyone knows them by that.
Burlesque names. Ooh, what is a good? I'm trying
A
to think of a
singer
good
name.
old-timey burlesque name, because burlesque names are a lot like drag names or like roller derby names where they're kind of punny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking up
But what's a good
burlesque
old-timey
name.
one? A good old-timey one. Also, somebody in the chat did suggest Jesse as a gender neutral name.
Thank you. I like
That
that.
works.
And then no, I like IE. And then I'm gonna put their stage name in parentheses. Uh I don't like that. I don't like that either. Sorry, I'm on a name generator and they gave me pepper
Oh, I'm under the
spice.
wrong person. That's
Pepper spice. No.
No, I didn't like it. Whispers. I feel like, okay, whispers. Something.
Ooh. Whisper alone would be very burlesque.
Thank you. Because I was like, I think I want, yeah, whisper.
Ooh. I like that. That's a cute name.
Sorry, but I called Mama Diaz's age.
I love doing shit like that.
I did not know that. Well, that makes sense. I was just reading the chat.
Uh-huh.
We got nerdy revelries. Oh my god, I can't read, I can't spell, I can't speak. I don't know what's going on today.
You just can't human today, that's all.
I can't people, and I can barely process. But Nerdy Revelries, who is actually the creator of the game, said that they actually put together census data to make a name list for the game, and Jesse is the one name on both the male and female list of popular names.
And yes, apologies, Neko. I'm just so used to calling you Neko. But yes, Neko created the game out of a hack of Good Society, and then V and Haley of Good, I was to say Good Society, but yes, Good Society Story Brewers approached her to make it a full-fledged game instead of a hack because it became its own game, with many years in the making. Yeah, I'm very excited.
So for my connection, I've got Dr. Marsh. She basically is sort of like the neighborhood doctor and family friend. And so she basically our family is the ones who make flyers when she needs them and stuff. And I kind of see she probably looks and says, we're not going real dark, but obviously you had young folks working in factories or overworking themselves.
Yeah.
And she's probably looking and going like, hey, I know you want to help out your parents, but you need to ease up. Like,
Exactly. And we might go, just so we can finish this portion, about 10-15 minutes late. For anybody that's new, we are usually just a 2-hour stream, because unlike me, everybody else got work in the morning.
Also, I can't people today. If I tried to people for 4 hours, I would just go blank.
Okay, I am finished with I did.
You
Oh.
people with your like one sentence, I do like 5 paragraph descriptions.
I can do more later, but
I
my
know.
brain is
No, I get
operating
that,
from
yeah.
what it has.
No worries, as long as you do more than one sentence, then so I know another Chris in Good Society, and he is notorious for just writing like 3 words and just vibing, and it's like, we need more than that.
Sometimes you gotta build it as it goes.
Luckily, he's probably not watching stream, so I can make fun of him.
So my secondary is Jesse Sue. Their stage name is Whisper Alone. I think they are very artistic and charming. So the little bit of description I have is they are very patient with Esther and see themselves as an advisor to her, always with a sly smile on their face and laughs heartily.
Nice.
For me, my secondary, I have Eula Mae Smith. She's Minnie's older sister. She thinks Minnie is a bit naive, but is very ambitious, and that if she could just pay attention and not get so caught up in her fantasies, that Eula wouldn't have to worry about her so much. And I think she probably is friends also with Jesse. Or works with Jesse. Like, she probably works in the burlesque show, even if she's not like in the show.
She's do you think she's like one of those people who's kind of like the effective like a stage aide?
Yeah.
Hey, someone's gotta move the drum set, hurry up, like that kind of stuff.
Basically she's like helping Jesse get into the different costumes and stuff like that, making sure everything is in order so that she doesn't fall on a banana peel.
Right. Also, yeah, we just passed the 4-year anniversary of the first play test, which was February 29th, and I was lucky enough to be in the first play test, where it was the only game, I think, Neko, that we had such wild epistolary, because I think after our game, it got clamped down, because we played through Discord and everything. But that is a thing that will be happening in the game, is epistolary, where in CETA it can be done as letters to each other's, notes, journal entries. You can even write homework essays or plays or little like news articles. You could do whatever kind of writing ephemera you want, as kids are wont to do, or drawings. We've had some people create like kids drawings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was 70 letters in 1 week.
Honestly, during the height of pandemic, I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
People was learning all kinds of new crafts. Like stuff was happening.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I
before
learned how
people
to-
started.
I learned how to do needlepoint.
Nice.
So before we started turning to stuff like, crate challenge.
Yeah.
Question. Am I supposed to have 3 tokens? Because
I believe so. Animal Crossing wasn't even out yet.
I just want to know if I accidentally clicked that by
Oh no,
accident.
you accidentally clicked that. It's yeah, just 2 tokens to start with.
The Animal Crossing game took over my life for a good month. I wanted all of the fruits so bad. But that's me with every Animal Crossing game, to be quite honest. I want one of everyone.
Make it do no wrong. Oh, I've decided that my family, they're one of the few that actually struck it rich during the gold rush, saved and invested their money, and now owns a tamale shop, but a Guatemalan tamale shop, in the Barbary Coast area, and as described in which we'll all get to in a minute, in the connections, Mama Diaz will only get mad if you call her Mexican, or her tamales Mexican.
Seems legit. Oh, you did write like a whole thing.
That's pretty short for me for a connection. But yeah.
You want to know what? Because I was thinking, like, I was trying to think of how Minnie and her sister got to San Francisco.
Mhm.
And like in my head, I was like, they had gone to Nevada for like the silver
Ooh,
mines.
yeah.
And then their dad died in the silver mine. And so they decided to go further west because they figured they'd be able to find more work there.
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay. Is there another step that's right after this?
It will be once everybody's done, introducing all of our characters, introducing our connections, and then assigning connections to each other. And then technically that's it of character creation.
Well, I didn't introduce mine.
Well, yeah, we haven't done it everybody's kind of done it unofficially, so not quite yet. Yeah, don't worry, Inda.
Okay.
I'm just writing this quick little paragraph, my shortest paragraph of my description ever, and then we can go from there. I'm just forgetting wharf. That's the word I want.
All right, I'm gonna grab some coffee because brain.
Yeah. All right. I'm afraid to have coffee after the food poisoning, so
Oof.
Sorry.
I'm like, I wonder if the headache is coffee withdrawal. Because I haven't had any since Friday.
Have some tea.
Yes, I've had some tea. Slowly
Yeah.
been sipping tea.
Lower caffeine spike.
Hmm. Let's see. Family friend with Rosemary. What does your family do, Rosemary?
I'm thinking they do like some sort of, well, no, I was going to say ranching, but that would mean they couldn't live among the,
Yeah, that would be in Cow Hollow, probably.
uh, well, I was actually going to save that for her later occupation, but they're in hospitality. They
Okay.
run a boarding house.
Ah, okay. One of these days, I will remember how to do the special I, but today is not it. I remember how to do the Enya and the special E. I have not learned how to remember the special I.
Yeah, I don't think you can do the control shift as a control shift.
What are you
No,
trying to do?
control.
For me, it's usually Alt. Like Alt 0233 gives the special E, and then I believe Alt 0241 gives the Enya. But that's the only ones
Yeah.
I've memorized.
I think only like in Word you can just do the control shift and then the tilde button and then hit N and it'll do the Enye. And it'll also do accents if you do
If you do like
control.
the on-screen keyboard, if you can't remember
Also,
the
you can
keyboard
on-screen
shortcuts.
keyboard it. Oh yeah, I used to have a list of keyboard shortcuts somewhere.
I technically have a bookmark bar specifically for Spanish accents, but like I'm just too lazy. So I'm just
There's
like,
too
eh.
many tabs already. I
Yeah.
don't need this.
All right. So we'll go from right to left. So what we're be doing is describing my character, everything, and then my character connection, and then we'll go that way. So then Chris, then JP, then D, then Inda, and then after that we just kind of call out. Excuse me. Which connection we want to play. The only thing like with character connections is it won't be so hard for childhood phase. It's more so in maybe an adult phase depending. Like for example, if you wanted to have scenes, Chris, with your own sibling, probably be best if you don't play your own sibling. But if you don't
Yeah.
really care, then you can play your own sibling if you like, for example. But yeah, so I am playing Matthias Matty Diaz, he, him, 14. His castle is I want to train around the world. Airships are out, trains are in. Relationship has a crush on Esther and is family friends with Rosemary. Blech. I am the prince, a talented golden child, spoiled but well liked by peers, sophisticated for their age, and eager to be an adult. I am of new money. Matthias is the middle child. Both his older and younger siblings are back in Guatemala. He was only 4 years old when they came up here, having the strongest constitution of the kids, and doesn't remember much. He's happy to be in San Francisco to live a great life where he can do no wrong and ask for whatever he wants. Was mostly happy to work in his mama's tamale shop, but better than whatever Papa was doing at the wharf. But now his worldview has expanded with new kids in his life, especially a cute girl from Chicago. Is friends with Rosemary because her family helps out with other Latino families coming up, and the Diaz's are always around helping with translating. Their bosom enemy is being frivolous. And the connection is Mama Diaz. She, her, you better mind your manners and not ask her age. She thinks Mateus is a good boy and hopes he counts his blessings. The Diaz family is one of the few who actually struck gold during the infamous gold rush, but they were smart about it and took time to cultivate it, investing in a Guatemalan tamale shop. Mama Diaz is very indulgent to their only child that's in America. The rest of the family is still back home. She can't help but to indulge him, to give him more than what they had. She's a very small, curvy woman who is nice to everyone until you call her or her food Mexican. All right, Chris.
I'm playing Mark Sui. He's the youngest child of the family, and his family runs the print shop in the area. His castle is basically to eventually actually have a full book printing shop, instead of just sort of the flyers and posters they've been doing. He is family friends with Rosemary's family, who's always coming through to like do stuff at the print shop. He's a ringleader, which means he's the responsible one, interested in others' well-being. Basically, part of the thing is, even though he's the youngest child, that doesn't mean he's been spoiled. It means all the other older siblings had to go do work, so he's the one stuck helping the family business. So that's kind of the thing going on with that. He's my connection is Dr. Marsh, who is basically the neighborhood doctor. She sees him as taking on too much responsibility. And the thing is, she's also been like the sort of local midwife, so she knows most of the kids and a lot about sort of all the romances and non-romances that have been happening, you know? So she's up in folks' business with that. But at the same time, she does hope that kids get a better opportunity than what they've been getting out here.
Excellent. Thank you. JP?
Okay, hold on. I'm typing. See, I'm becoming like Deanna. I'm writing a whole bunch of stuff down. Okay, my character is Esther James. She, her, 14 years old. Are we just doing an overview or?
Yeah, your castle, scamp, the paragraph you just wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her castle is she wants to be in a theater, maybe as a dancer, actor, singing. She doesn't care as long as she's on stage. Relationship, best friends with Mark, because see him every day. Neighbors with Minnie May. And I'm the scamp. So high spirited, original, in and out of trouble, lovable, easy to forgive. Her family came by train from Chicago to get away from a bad incident involving running numbers and a disgruntled customer. She misses her old neighborhood and friends, but will use this opportunity to explore a new place and create fun adventures. Her older brother works on building where I don't know what they call it, but like the ones that help lay down the railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And travel to visit every now and then. But they mostly send money back to help the family. Her mother is currently pregnant, so she just like recent pregnancy. So like maybe like 2-3 months or something like that. She likes to think that she walks to the beat of her own drum. She has a habit of dancing around when sitting still too long. And I pick impulsive as my bosom enemy. I think that's all, or do I do
And then you introduce
Your other player.
Yeah, the connection.
Okay. Sorry, I don't remember stuff. My short-term memory is shot. Jessie Sue, and their stage name is Whisper Alone. They use she, he, they pronouns. They're 19 years old. They're Mark's older sibling. And I see them as very artistic and charming, and I have a big crush on them. They are very patient.
It's what Jessie Sui thinks of your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
Mark's little friend.
right. That's Mark's little friend.
Seems very interested in theater, always around,
Right.
helping out every chance.
I think they think I'm an adorable kid that just needs someone to talk to every now and then.
Oh, definitely. You definitely give off hyper little kid energy to them.
Always asking questions.
And then we were here, and then we were here, and then I got to learn this thing. And did you know?
And then
Yeah,
they sang
kid.
this song, and then they did this like cross fit, and then yeah.
And then the bit of paragraph on them. Ah.
They are very patient with Esther and see themselves as an advisor to her, always with a sly smile on their face and laughs heartily. Jesse works as a singer in the burlesque show. They tend to play with gender expression and perform either in women or men's clothing, depending on their mood and the essence of the song.
Excellent. Thank you.
Essence.
Now for the one who can't seem to human today, D.
I can't. So my character's name is Minnie Mae Smith. Her castle is that since she's been in San Francisco, she's heard stories about so many far off places from Rome to Shanghai and down to Mexico City. Minnie Mae wants to see all of these places for herself. She is neighbors with Esther, and she's very much a dreamer. When they were much younger, Eula, Minnie, and their father made their way to Nevada in hopes that the father would make a good living working in the silver mines. However, after a bad accident that resulted in the death of their father, the two young girls decided to make their way further west in hopes of making a living. Now, Eula makes a living as a stagehand slash seamstress for Jessie Sui, and Minnie makes whatever money she can patching up clothes for their neighbors. Her bosom enemy is naivety. I spelled it right. I looked it up. And her connection is Eula Mae Smith. That's her older sister. She thinks Minnie is a bit naive but ambitious. If she could just pay attention and not get so caught up in her fantasies, Eula wouldn't have to worry about Minnie so much. And Eula is not the most patient person in the world, considering she had to become a pseudo parent at a young age. She is tired, but tries to keep that from her little sister because she wants her sister to keep some of the childhood that she lost.
Excellent. Thank you. And last but not least, Inda.
Okay, I am playing Rosemary O'Neill. She's a she/her, and she's 13 years old. She wants to travel the world and write about her adventures, much like the books she reads, but she eventually does want to settle back down in San Francisco. The relationship is she's family friends with Maddie. Wait, not Maddie, but Mark. Wait, no, Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah.
Both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, she's the bookworm, so she's always asking you difficult questions. She's a philosophical turn of mind, more theoretical, than practical, and constantly reading books. And she is from New Money. A bit of her background, even though she was born in San Francisco, her parents are from the South. Her father faked having a vision about going west, so nobody tried to stop him when he left. So
Love
he was
that.
able to leave. Her bosom enemy, she's oblivious. And her connection is Roy Brown, who is him, and he's 16. He's the son of the first family her family befriended when they came, they settled in San Francisco. He thinks she's quiet but thoughtful. He's the son of, I hope I say this right, Mwekma, a Lone family, so we could get in the native indigenous presence here. He's kind-hearted and he looks after Rosemary even when she doesn't know it. He doesn't necessarily see her as a little sister, but he worries that she can't look after herself properly. But Roy is often, looks after the garden that's on her family's boarding house's property.
Oh, that's so cute. Like, let me just watch out for this child.
Exactly.
Like I feel like you walk with a book in front of your face and like they're just quietly.
You think you're Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but it's actually other people navigating you.
It's like I just was seeing this montage of you walking down the street, and there's all these minor accidents you barely avoided. Brick fell down. Oh yeah, horse cart went by. Just
You got Roy
Yeah.
stressed.
Oh,
All right. Last thing to do before we close out for tonight: choose your character. Who do y'all want to play? Linda?
can I be Dr. Marsh?
yeah.
Yes. All right. I'll copy your name to there.
Ooh, who do I want to be?
I was gonna ask for either Dr. Marsh or Jesse, but Jesse's too
take
ambitious
Roy?
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want Yula May. And I will explain after this is over.
I
Uh-oh.
want Mama Diaz, yeah.
That works out. Let me just copy and paste people's names over. JP, you said Yulame, correct?
Yes.
And I get to be the non-binary Queen King. Wahaha.
Yeah. I was thinking about Jesse, but I'm like, I can't pull that off.
Awesome. All right. That I think will be it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Next week we'll have a proper session 1 where we get to interact with these kids, and be a great introduction to the Kickstarter that is coming out on Tuesday, next Tuesday, not this Tuesday. And yeah, it was really fun, everybody. Usually I would do stars and wishes, but it was character creation, so yeah.
The wishes is that we get to play.
We
Exactly.
included stuff we want and don't want in the game, so that's our stars and wishes.
Yeah.
I want JP to tell us why she chose Yulame.
I was gonna do it after the stream.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Reasons.
Sure.
Um,
All right.
This
got
is
some
an
reasons.
attack on me personally.
No. But no, like next week is Mother's Day. So is
Oh.
everybody.
Oh.
I'm probably not gonna be able to.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh.
Forgot that it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
If you guys are willing to do it on, because I do want to get this to actually, what are you guys doing on Tuesday?
This Tuesday or next
No,
Tuesday?
next Tuesday.
Oh, because
If you wanna
Nothing
do
I
some
can
mistakes.
think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
we
think
could do it on a Tuesday,
We could switch days and do it on Tuesday. Do it on opening night of the Kickstarter.
the 14th.
yes.
Am
I
looking
keep
at the right
forgetting what
date?
days are days anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to
Yeah.
people, isn't it?
I'm trying to see if anything happened on the 14th. No, yeah, it's just
I
That's just a
forget.
Tuesday.
I forget Americans celebrate Mother's Day on the 12th, on that Sunday. We celebrate on the 10th. So it's but yeah, we could do so tentatively. We'll put on the socials. I'll definitely put in the Storybrewers Discord and confirm with you, Neko. Tuesday at same time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 hours. And yeah, we'll do reminders. That way, it can go up. This episode will be on VOD. I'm hoping to get the YouTube channel up and running by next week then. So that way you can access it there if you don't like Twitch VODs, which is always very understandable. But yes, that
Cool.
will be it. So thank you, everybody. Bye. Have a fantastic night.
Bye.
Bye.